So now that we've seen through 1.3 what happens behind the scenes when a C++ executable is created by the process of compiling and linking, etc., what we get to is 1.4, and this starts on page 14 or so, are the different parts of a program. So these are going to be the different parts of the program irrespective of whatever language it is that you are going to be developing in. So C++, that's going to be the language we are primarily concerned with, but we can't pretend that there are no other languages out there. So these are the portions of a Ruby program. These are the portions of a JavaScript or Java program or COBOL, etc. The rules here, generally speaking, are the same. So the parts here that we're going to talk about quickly are keywords, programmer defined identifiers, operators, punctuation, and syntax. And part of the good news here is that you've already learned what most of these mean when it comes to English or whatever your first and second and third languages might possibly be. The rules here in C++ work the exact same way. So a keyword, if I scroll down a little bit, I know that means some of you will be paging as opposed to scrolling. This is on page 14. A keyword is a reserved word in C++ that has special meaning that you cannot change. Now, you can use keywords, but you cannot change them. So in our previous example, we saw the preprocessor, so the pound symbol. Pound, include, and then inside of the greater and less than symbol, we had something. In this case, it was IOStream. That include is a keyword. C++ keywords are all in lower case. These might be things like you see right here, using, USING, that's a keyword, all lowercase. Namespace, that's a keyword, all lowercase. Int, INT, double, float, char, string, all of these are keywords. They are all lowercase. We have things called programmer-defined identifiers. These are going to be variables, things that you know as a developer you need, but aren't part of the standard rollout of C++. So we're talking about things here in the chapter on page 15, like pay. Pay is a floating point number. We'll talk about those in a bit. So we want to refer to that all the time. How do we calculate pay? It's hours times rate. Hours and rate are going to be programmer defined identifiers or variables. We'll see these as we keep going through. Punctuation, that comes next. A line of C++ is punctuated with the semicolon. We also use as punctuation the comma. We also use as punctuation the colon as well. We'll see those as we get through. You can see that there are notices here on different lines. You can see those when you come through and read that. But punctuation does the exact same thing here in C++ that it would do in like a paper. It indicates that this is the beginning and the end of a statement, and it also indicates that these are potentially portions within that statement that can change the order in which the operations of a statement are understood by the compiler. Lines and statements, like I had mentioned previously, a statement, so a line in C++ is punctuated here, you can see, with the semicolon. It's probably a little hard to see. It is not a colon, it is a semicolon. That's a statement, that's a line. That's it. Variables. We've already talked about that when we were talking about the programmer-defined identifiers. That's a variable, something that you might need as a developer and something that you might change or not change over the course of the execution of your program. The rest of this I will let you read. I think it's actually fairly straightforward. That's the reason we call a programmer defined identifier is a variable, because it varies, it changes for the most part over the course of your program. So here in 1.4, every program consists of what we see here on page 14 and table 1-2. Every program consists of keywords, variables, operators, punctuation, and syntax. Operators are usually things like plus, minus, divide, things of that nature, because I think I forgot about them earlier.